Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop. Howdy! Today we have a piece of maple from Chris Brown in New York. Don't say I didn't warn you. It's got a couple wormholes in it. The piece is about 7.5 by 8.5 by 4.5 inches tall. There's a couple of wormholes on that end as well, but they just don't compare to what we got going on over here. Pretty eaten up. So what I'm going to do is drill a clearance hole here in the center. This will be the top. I'm going to drill a clearance hole for my chuck jaws to set against. I'm going to drill a 5/16 inch hole for my 3/8 inch woodworm screw in the middle of that, and we'll get mounted up on the lathe. When I said I had to drill a clearance hole, this is what I meant, and I had to go a little bit further because this is so much higher here than it is down at the bottom where I need it to be. So I drilled a couple extra half holes to get clearance for the chuck body. I drilled the hole for the woodworm screw. This is where the chuck jaws, the front of the chuck jaws are going to set, right here. But by the time it gets to here, it was hitting the chuck body, so I had to drill extra holes for it. Hope that makes sense. So now we'll just try and thread it on and see if I got enough clearance. So far so good. Now I can see some nice grain in this here and there. Okay, I think that's going to hold for us. Probably going to be out of balance. Now because of the way the piece is cut, the tailstock or the live center is going to enter at a very odd angle, but that's okay. Maybe I'll spin it up here a little bit and let that live center find its own hole. Like that. About 550. I'll be using a 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. It's gonna be bumpy. Now maybe I'll come over here and work on this corner. Well, I gotta tell you, that hurts. I'm gonna put a glove on. When it comes off at that angle, it just hits right here and it just hurts. What do we got? Yeah, see that grain? Pretty. Got some pink in there. Well, right now we have, I know you can't see it all, we have kind of the top slopes down, and now I've made this bottom side slope up, and so it comes to a point here, and then on two ends we have kind of a diamond or a diamond pattern on these two ends. Now this end is much thicker than this end is, probably about an inch difference. So I'm just wondering if we should leave it like that or keep going. Maybe I'll keep going a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can pick the speed up any. About 700. And that's about right. We'll mark out for a tenon. Looks like there's going to be enough wood there to make a tenon. Back to the bottom. Kind of hard to get a clean cut with all that bouncing around going on. I wish I knew what you were thinking about now. Do you like this, or you think I'm just crazy, or I know, fill it with resin. Fill it with resin, Phil. Blue, no green. How about red? I think yellow would look nice. I know. Not gonna happen. Oh, well, you know what? I'll show you what. I'm not sure I can trust the integrity of this tenon. What do you think? Maybe. Alright, well, time for sanding. I'm going to start sanding with my 2-inch sanding disc at 80 grit. And when I get to 180 grit, I'm going to switch to my Sandoflex to sand all, you know, what do I say, the irregular surfaces. Make sure they're all nice and smooth. I'll sand in reverse and I'll sand forward. And I'll sand sideways to get all of those surfaces. And I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. The lathe is spinning in reverse at 350 RPM. Well, that's pretty easy. And then there's 2 flat ends. I'll sand those as well. But just lightly. This one has some saw marks in it. I guess that one does too. I'll leave those saw marks, but I will smooth them out. They'll feel good. And I'll do that up through 400 grit. And then with the Sandoflex, and then forward. So I'll be, that's what I'll be doing, and I'll bring you back in a bit and we'll put some, probably sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. It's pretty obvious I'm gonna have to brush a lot of this, but I just want to get a base coat on here first. Love that red, huh? Now I gotta tell some of the new folks watching, this is not meant for your Cheerios. You're not gonna put Fruit Loops in here. This is an art piece. Just imagine going to someone's house and this is sitting on the entry table, right there by the door where you come in. You see this, you're just gonna have to pick it up and look at it. What is that? How could that be? What happened to that thing? That's what this is all about. It's just to look at, just like a painting hanging on the wall. And obviously it's not my artwork that we're looking at here. I didn't do all this, although a lot of guys do, right? You've seen them. They turn a nice bowl and then they get out their carving tools and start drilling holes and carving patterns and whatnot. Well, that's already done. It's already done for us. I spent a lot of time with a pick, like a dental pick and a screwdriver and little toothbrushes and wire brushes and whatnot, cleaning out all these holes. Anything remaining is in there pretty well. And I think this sanding sealer and then the shellac will act like a glue to keep anything that might come out from coming out. We'll start with this larger brush, and I've just got some sanding sealer in this can. I've got a smaller brush I can move to if I can't get into all of these spots. But I can only do so much of this, and then I have to get right back to the rag and wipe all this up before it sets up and makes ridges in it. That's really important, and that was a hard lesson for me to learn, because you can't get those ridges off. I just want to wipe up those drippy, runny brush strokes. This is going to take quite a little bit of time, I can see that, and I won't ask you to watch all of it. I'm going to put on, it looks like 2 coats of this sanding sealer, shellac based sanding sealer, and then I'll put on 2 coats of shellac, exactly the same way I'm putting on this, brushing a rag, brushing a rag. Okay, see you back here in a bit. Here's what I'm dealing with the tenon. See the big gap in here? So I don't have a full tenon. And then to further aggravate that, maybe you can see how deep that goes in there. and then we've got this one over here. So it feels like solid wood. I tapped on it with a hammer. Sounds like solid wood. I'm gonna plead laziness. I probably should take it off and put in a recess, but I'm not going to. The worst that'll happen is it'll break off and it'll fall here on the shelf behind the lathe, and then I'll have to start over with a recess. I'm sorry, I'm lazy. But I don't recommend you be lazy. You should not do what I'm gonna do. Bad idea. I won't squeeze down too terribly hard. Could be I hear it cracking now, I'm not sure. Okay, well, I'll take little small cuts. Little cuts up here. That might work. Maybe I'll try tailstock support for a while. The piece is kind of small. We'll probably go with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge instead of a 5/8. Oh, how fast? I don't know. Let's see. We'll go right there, about 700 RPM. 1/2 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. I think we can be seeing some of those bug holes by now. Yeah, starting to come through. Well, that's really about as big as I can go with the bowl. Maybe a little bit bigger, but not much. Well, I'm getting to where I can't make much more progress with the tailstock in the way. Yeah, we're just going to have to trust that tenon. And I don't trust it. I'm just going to leave the center here as long as I can in case that tenon breaks off, because I'm going to need it to rechuck it and make a recess on the bottom. So I'll leave that for a bit.
Oh well. We're about 3/8 of an inch on the bottom now. So that's probably close enough. I'll just see if I can clean my cuts up a little, which isn't easy to do because there's so much bouncing around because of the missing wood. I can't really ride the bevel because of the missing wood, because of, it goes in that hole and then it bounces out and then it goes back in another hole and it bounces out. So I can only use the tip. Now that's Alexa telling me it's time to take my pill. I'll be back.
I'm going to use my negative rake scraper to clean up the rest of this piece.
We got it. We did indeed. Surprise, surprise. Time for sanding.
This is 80 grit. I'm going to start at 80 and work up through 400. And as on the outside, when I get to 180 grit, which is what this is, then I'll use this in there as well. And I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. So with lathe spinning forward at about 350 RPM, and then, like I said, when I get to 180, and I already did this when I was working on the bottom side. I was able to reach it all. I might touch it up, but it still feels pretty good. And that cleans it up real nice and smooths it out. And that's always my goal, is to have it as smooth, no matter what it looks like. I want to have it as smooth as can be, and then you're always surprised because you go, oh my God, that's awful, I don't want to touch it. But then when you touch it, it's so nice. And you have all that texture. That's what's cool about this kind of stuff. You just don't expect it to feel as nice as it does, considering it looks awful, right? Not to me, but to you it looks awful. Ooh, but I warned you. See you in a bit. Well, let's get on with it here. I had to do the same thing as I did on the outside. I had to use my dental picks to get in here and pick out all the loose stuff, and that took quite a bit of time, but I think I got it all. And remember, when you go to leave me a comment and you're going to tell me, I don't like it, Phil. Sorry, bud, I don't like it. I warned you, didn't I? I warned you. Shouldn't have watched. And I don't mind when people tell me they don't like something. Who likes everything? Nobody likes everything. Just don't tell me you don't like bug holes when you knew you were going to see bug holes. Tell me it's an ugly shape or something. I don't know. To be honest, I'm trying to decide if I like it. I've got a lot of work into it, a lot of time that you don't know about because I edit the video, but this has taken quite a bit of time, and I'm not sure it's worth all of that time, but it's worth something because it's unique. There's a funny thing about bug holes. It seems like, judging by the comments, women like them way more than guys do. Guys are grossed out by them, and I have a theory about that. I think it's because women have changed more diapers than men, and they don't get grossed out. Tell me if that's a correct theory. I've got 2 kids and I've changed 1 diaper in my life. And that's only because my wife wasn't home, and the neighbor lady that I usually called on, she wasn't home either, so I was stuck. Now this is a long time ago, before guys did that sort of thing on a regular basis, so I know it's different with the younger generation. Now the trick here is I can't get this on so thick that it runs out the other side where it's all nicely finished. Well, you don't want to see all this. This is what I'll be doing for a while, it looks like. And I'll bring you back here in a bit and we'll take off that weak tenon, which was apparently strong enough. I'm more surprised by that than if it would have come off. I was expecting it to break. So, pleasant surprise for me. See you in a bit. I've mounted a block of wood up in my chuck. I'm going to place a non-slip cloth over that and bring up the bowl. And then bring up my tailstock. I still have that center hole there for reference, so I can just drive my live center into that. I'll tell you, this one has me a little scared because there's so little wood holding that tenon in place. So I might not be able to finish this on the lathe, I don't know. But as always, we'll give it a good shot. We'll spin the piece up, see if it's running true. And it sure is, so that's a plus. Turn the speed up to about 575. I'm going to use a 3/8 inch bowl gouge and commence to removing that tenon. I'm going to check for clearance. Yeah, just barely have clearance. I'll just keep working at it. I can't imagine there's much holding that in place. A little bit here is holding it, and well, not much. Okay, I'm going to adjust my tool rest. I don't know if this is even a good idea, you know, I'm not sure it's a good idea. Usually I want to rub my bevel along here, but it's going to catch on one of those little pieces. And then, oh man. Yeah, I better not. Because it's going to catch on one of those pieces and get stuck in there. Once this breaks off, it's going to get stuck in there and then we're going to have a mess. So, I'm not going to finish taking that off. I'll take it over here to the workbench. I'll chisel it a little bit to get the nub off of there. And then I'll sand the rest of it. Sign it, get it finished. I don't know where I'm going to sign it even. And I'll be right back. Be sure you stick around at the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this. See, that's what I meant about it. It has diamond ends on it. I like that. I like the overall shape of the piece. I'm just not sure I'm in love with it yet. It might grow on me. I love this right here. And this side is nice. And it certainly isn't the bug holes that bother me. I mean, I've done tons of pieces with bug holes. That doesn't bother me. I like the outside better, I think, than the inside. And there's the bottom all finished up. Barely had room to write, but I did. You can see there wasn't much left of that tenon. I like it. I have a lot of work into it. Maybe that's why I like it. It was a lot of effort. But there's no loose stuff on it anymore. It's nice and tight. It's very, very light. Very lightweight. What do you think? I know, you'll tell me honestly. Don't complain though. Don't complain. Don't say, oh, it has bug holes. I warned you. It's right there in the title. Just say I like it or I don't like it. Thank you, Chris Brown from New York, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up, please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, that is totally cool. Thank you so much for that. If you're not a subscriber, or you might consider becoming one, I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I read all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.